And welcome everyone to Top Cut here in Gin Challenge 28 for our premier challenge here in Big Bear, California. My name is Cornell. Here is Deacy Eisler. We have our top 8 contenders here, and our first set of matches will start shortly between Tyler Deacy and Michael Muñoz.
And Tyler's got the fun team that I've seen them bring a couple of times and really hone over the course of Regulation F. Registeel, Cresselia, Heatran, Incineroar, Gastrodon, and Rillaboom. And then Michael on the other end with the Tornadus, Incarnate, Fluttermane, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Landorus Incarnate, Amoonguss, and Archaludon. Bit of that manual rain to get Archaludon going. Let's talk about this Registeel Cresselia team. It's able to skill swap Levitate onto either the Registeel or the Heatran, which can really reduce the number of weaknesses Heatran has to just 2. It's just the fighting and the water weaknesses.
Or fighting and just fighting for fire for Registeel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and here we go. We're going into game number 1 here of top 8 here between Tyler and Michael. Mike's going to go ahead and lead out the Fluttermane and the Landorus Incarnate on his side of the field. And Tyler, they're going to lead Rillaboom and Cresselia, likely in the leading Trick Room.
But yeah, and this team does work very well in Trick Room, wants to be quite a bit slower. Registeel's very slow. Second Reggie we've seen today. We'll have to see if anyone else in Top Cut decides to crack out the Regirock. I think that's unlikely.
I mean, it is base 200 defense with body press, should anyone want to wonder about that. As Fake Out goes into this Landorus, making it out to push it for 1 turn. That's a lot of damage off the Shadow Ball from Michael's Fluttermane here. And Trick Room does get set up by this Cresselia.
That's the important thing, that you get the Trick Room up. And Cresselia does have the Lunar Blessing if it wants to heal a little bit. Although you do just run the risk of getting run over by another Shadow Ball. At this point, I think you have to get the Registeel in there and try to figure out how to manage that. And actually, it's just going to be the Cresselia switching out here.
It is a Registeel that's coming in here. In it comes.
I wasn't expecting to get it in right there.
Oh, Landorus switches out for Mike, and depending on what they bring in here, Amoonguss comes in here, and I believe I saw something go into the Amoonguss slot, which it's not going to look well right now, especially when Terra gets activated from Tyler. I wonder what they Terra'd.
Yeah, it has to be the Rillaboom.
And yeah. It's a Grass Terra, unfortunately. So it was looking to get big damage with that Miracle Seed and that Grass Terra into that Landorus Incarnate. Instead, it's going to hit into a quad weak Amoonguss.
Yeah, we'll see how much damage it's able to still do. It's got as many boosts as it can possibly manage. Yeah.
Not a lot of damage. And this Fluttermane kind of has free reign to just fire up another Shadow Ball here. How much damage will this be doing to this Registeel? Should be a decent amount. Yeah, it's like around 40%, and we're going to get passive recovery from this grassy terrain.
Yeah, I think at this point, Fluttermane has to be a little scared of this next turn, as it'll get hit by either Heavy Slam or whatever.
Grassy Glide. Maybe.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, probably Grassy Glide even specifically, and with all these boosts, it should be able to knock it out, but the issue here is that Amoonguss can kind of shut down Registeel with Spore, and Michael can play this out a little bit more slowly. Actually, this can be Rillaboom swapping out, which is fascinating. I might be predicting a... well, no, Fluttermane's locked into Shadow Ball, so I don't really know.
And there's the Spore coming into this Registeel, and now it goes to sleep just before it could get any chance to do an attack in this very turn. It's going to take a first turn of sleep right now as Cresselia actually swapped in for the Rillaboom earlier in this turn. Shadow Ball once again goes into this Registeel. And as you said, this is a Choice Specs Fluttermane. It's doing great damage to this Registeel, but it's just going to get a big amount of passive HP recovery thanks to the Grassy Terrain and the leftovers, meaning it probably will take another one.
Yeah, but the problem here is that actually the Cresselia is now in danger of getting knocked out. A pretty easy Spore Shadow Ball onto the Cresselia slot here for Michael and just try to stall out whatever turns of Trick Room that you can.
Pollen Pop goes into this Cresselia. It is super effective. It is not enough for the knockout onto the Cresselia, unfortunately, as Registeel takes another to his sleep. And I believe this might be Lunar Blessing. Yeah, it is Lunar Blessing coming out from this Cresselia. So we are going to at least get a bit of HP recovery from the Cresselia, and then more HP recovery on the Registeel, and you get to wake it up.
I get wanting to play with the... Oh, and it is a wake up from the Registeel.
Yeah, because it heals all status resistance as well, but unfortunately, it's one trade he's going to have to be willing to, they're really going to have to make here as Tyler loses their Cresselia this turn.
Yeah, and I really would have preferred the attempt to sleep the Cresselia, because now Registeel just has a bit more HP back, and it does mean now that the Levitate skill swap never went off onto the Registeel. So the Registeel can still get impacted by Landorus whenever it switches back in with the Earth Power, which will be probably the ideal way to get through the Registeel, but now the Rillaboom's going to be in a pretty nice spot to just make things kind of annoying for Michael's team. It's not a great spot for either side.
No, it isn't. And going back to the Cresselia, I don't think you were able to spore it because it was holding a safety goggles item that it had.
Yeah, that is true.
So it was no potential to spore it. So Palpa was really all Michael had to do with in his eyes. And the spore once again goes into the Amoonguss, into the Registeel, meaning it's now going to take more to sleep, meaning it's going to get less and less action time. Another turn of sleep passes for their first one for a second time as Woodhammer comes out. Life is going to knock out Fluttermane here, and there it is.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the end of Fluttermane there. Fluttermane got work done. It got the Cresselia out of the way, and that's, I think, the not a primary threat, but certainly a primary problem. And if you can get Landorus back in here, I mean, no more Trick Room. Trick Room is done now. Grassy Terrain should expire, I think, this turn as well. Which means that if Landorus comes in right now, it has pretty free reign to do whatever it wants. It can potentially even get a substitute setup if it thinks that it can force Rillaboom out right now by threatening a Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, here comes the Landorus coming in here from Mike, and not only that, not only is the Grassy Terrain gone, Trick Room's gone too, so Mike kind of has free reign to either take out the Rillaboom with a Sludge Bomb or go for that Earth Power onto that Registeel for full-on damage. We're going to get a Terrestrialization from Mike now, and Mike is going to Terrestrialize that Landorus to Steel.
Yeah, I like that move. Takes away a lot of the prediction aspect because there's really no downside to any move that you make right now. It does mean, though, that you are weak to the Registeel Body Press, which could be a little bit scary later on in the game.
Ooh, there's Earth Power into the Registeel.
Wow.
And he has one hit knocked out.
Okay.
Oh, critical hit there.
I was going to say, that felt like a lot of damage, but it was a lot of damage.
Yeah, even though it was Sheer Force Life Force boosted as well, Pollen Puff goes into this Landorus, and you don't get much healing. I mean, you do get a bit of healing from a...
Yeah, I think it's just a fake out
yeah,
damage back.
Fake out earlier. And then you got the Gastrodon here from Tyler, and they're down to just those two Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's another opportunity for this Amoonguss to get off a Spore onto Gastrodon. I feel like Gastrodon Muddy Water has to be the win condition.
Oh, double protect is
that
there
is big.
That's a double protect on that Rillaboom, so it is going to be able to survive another turn here. Sludge Bomb tried to take it out on that very turn. Now Gastrodon has kind of free reign to go for the Earth Power or something in the ordinary. Oh, never mind. This Muddy Water coming out from this Gastrodon as it avoids the Amoonguss and it gets some damage onto this Landorus, and Spore lands onto this Gastrodon.
Yeah, no accuracy drop onto the Landorus. I think those were the outs for Tyler in this one, and so I think that, I mean, you're not getting a triple protect here. I think that Landorus is about to, yeah, that Sludge Bomb. Ring the bell.
No, well, not exactly, but
it's close.
The close is not good enough, buddy, as we're going to get another knockout there on the Rillaboom here, as Gastrodon takes another turn of sleep here. I mean, his first turn of sleep. And the Pollen Puff goes once again into this Landorus, trying to heal off a bit of Muddy Water damage, and I think this should wrap up Michael's win.
Yeah, Michael can just kind of slowly get through the rest of this one. I feel like the only out is Gastrodon dodging every move. Hold on a second. Now hold on.
Earth Power is actually able to avoid
his Bright Powder.
It is Bright Powder. Oh, Muddy Water missed again. It missed something. It missed the land. Double missed.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Also kind of deserved. And the Spore on the one-turn wake up. That's really good.
Great coverage from Mike, just covering the one-turn wake up. And yes, that did reveal our Bright Powder from the Gastrodon, because there were no accuracy drops on this Landorus earlier. Doesn't even do half of the boosted Earth Power. Gastrodon will take once again his first turn of sleep, and probably signals of the Pollen Puff into the Gastrodon. Yeah,
because the Landorus didn't take any damage in the meantime.
Okay,
I think we'll very slowly get this one closed out.
Oh, no, we got it out now. Well, we're not going to get out of there slowly. We're going to get out there quick. Mike wins game number 1 over Tyler Deacy.
Yeah, and I like how Michael played that one out. Just playing around the two high damage win conditions. I mean, that's the big thing about some of these slower, more setup-oriented teams, they do just need to make sure that they're not getting seriously threatened by premier damage threats, and Cresselia gets 2-shot by Fluttermane, Registeel gets 1-shot by Landorus, and if Cresselia is not able to do the Levitate skill swap onto the Registeel or the Heatran, if the Heatran's the choice of that battle, then you just can't play that out. You just aren't going to be capable of playing that out. So I'm curious to see how Tyler wants to structure the team to try to get everything necessary ready for Registeel to win the battle. And I think it might even be leading those two Pokemon.
Yeah, because the problem from the game one on Tyler's end is like they couldn't really get Registeel set up at all, because every opportunity they had to go for an Iron Defense or just straight up going for a Heavy Slam with Fluttermane, as an example, it got spored every time, and as soon as he even got Lunar Blessing a little later than I really would have liked, it really just had no momentum going, and Michael was able to control the damage on from that point onward. Yeah, and
I mean, it's the story of the day is Amoonguss Spore beating Trick Room, and this is another case where Amoonguss Spore is just beating Trick Room because Registeel tries to get the Trick Room up, or wants to get the Trick Room up for itself, and well, Cresselia gets it up for Registeel. Registeel wants to have it up. You get kind of what I'm saying there. And Registeel gets spored, and okay, it can't do anything now. Like, it doesn't matter if Trick Room's up or not, because Registeel's asleep.
Yeah, and now here comes game number 2 between Michael and Tyler. Michael once again leading Fluttermane and Landorus from game 1. Once again for Tyler, they're going to lead Lurelu and Cresselia from game 1.
Yeah, and I think Michael can basically run the same plays back.
I mean, here's the thing, he run the same play, but we didn't know what the Landorus wanted to do.
Yeah, we don't know what the Landorus wanted to do, but the Landorus could also protect or whatever, or try to set up a sub.
Ooh.
Assume for some switch-ups.
But instead, we're seeing Lurelu switch out the Registeel almost immediately. Now seeing that there is no threat of an Amoonguss immediately. Shadow Ball goes once again into this Cresselia with the choice specs. It will do a whole lot of damage.
It's not gonna knock out though.
Not quite yet. Here's Sludge Bomb. Will be enough. 2 HP! And Skill Suck gets landed on the Registeel.
That is brutal for Michael. Michael had the perfect read, I think, on that play. Knowing that the Cresselia had to be dealt with immediately. But the skill swap, this means the Registeel can't be hit by Landorus, period. It is immune to everything. And the Cresselia is now in a spot where you have to devote an attack to take it down, which shouldn't be too hard. It's easy enough for the Landorus to clean that up. But still, it's very annoying now because this Registeel, someone has to deal with Registeel, and I really don't know who's going to be capable of doing so.
Well, perhaps Amoonguss can do it in place of that Fluttermane.
I mean, the problem is just damage.
Sludge Bomb will knock out the Cresselia from this point onward, so no more Lunar Blessings are going to be coming into the future of Michael, although that's probably more of like his light game, because I mean, that Registeel that they tried to hit the Fluttermane with wasn't doing a whole lot of damage to that Amoonguss, and Cresselia being gone means that you cannot skill swap the Sheer Force away.
Yeah, exactly, and the problem here is I think if you're Michael, you probably want to try to sleep the Registeel and knock out everything around it, and then you have to very slowly play out the rest of this game against the Registeel.
Landorus protects here as Gastrodon was the switch in for Tyler as they brought in that new Pokemon. Registeel also going to protect in front of the sporing Amoonguss here. Gastrodon goes for Yawn onto the Amoonguss, so now it's going to have a 1-turn timer if it chooses to go to sleep or not. Spore tries to go to the Registeel.
Yeah, I like that play a lot from Tyler. That was a really smart play. The problem here is that Michael can't play this out as slowly as he might want because Registeel has the late game win condition of setting up enough iron defenses and body presses. So you have to, like, whatever is in the back, and that's the thing as well, we're going to find out what's in the back, and that's the only thing that's going to be able to seriously damage this Registeel. That's probably ideal. That's probably ideal if you are Michael.
Fire power into the Gastrodon does almost half to the blue slug, as we're going to get the iron defense boost now on this Registeel, which won't matter in front of an Urshifu Surging Strikes unless the Terra is good enough to mitigate that result. A big amount of damage comes out from this Muddy Water, as it's super effective on the Landorus, not very effective on the Urshifu. No accuracy drops, importantly.
Yeah, big breath out on that one. Yeah, and the issue here is you can't lock yourself into Surging Strikes until Gastrodon's out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
I think you have to close combat, and I think close combat was the better option against Registeel anyway.
Ooh, you turn into Gastrodon.
I don't hate that, because Landorus is... it's now certainly in range for Landorus to finish it off. And you just wanted to get Amoonguss back in so that Amoonguss can then spore the Registeel. So I like that move. The problem is that Registeel is just getting kind of scary.
Earth Power will finish off this Gastrodon. Thankfully, no Bright Powder to save it at all from this Blue Star to be able to survive most of the best allegations that it's probably ever had in a decent amount of time. As another Iron Defense goes up for this Registeel, that body press is only getting scarier.
Yeah, and yeah, the big question is just going to be how much is this Registeel going to do to each of these threats? Because I think at this point, Michael probably has to feel pretty comfortable taking down this Rillaboom with Landorus, probably. It's going to be weird, but I don't think it'll be too difficult.
I guess the new thing that Michael has to play around is basically, well, do you want to deal with the Grassy Glide from the Rillaboom? Because it is in range of that.
Yeah,
move.
Landorus is probably in range of that, but I don't know what you can do about that.
I don't think there is much you could do about it. Maybe just protect.
Yeah.
Just stall out a turn and try to get the Spore off into the Registeel. And basically just like mitigate the damage you can from Registels. You can set up Surging Strikes on Urshifu safely, but
yeah, if you can at least make sure the Registeel is not doing anything for a couple of turns. But the problem is I don't know if that's an option really. This is just such a difficult. Landorus literally can't hit Registeel.
And it's going to protect in front of this Rillaboom to make sure the Grassy Glide isn't enough for the knockout. And Rillaboom also going to protect, probably want to eye out that Pollen Puff from that Amoonguss should it not go for the Spore. And Amoonguss protects too. Do we see a fourth protector for this Registeel by any means necessary? No, we don't.
Quadruple protect? No, we don't.
Body press to Landorus, interestingly, and now trying to catch a switch in.
Potentially, or just trying to finish off the Landorus. +4 on that Registeel probably would have finished it off from that range. Or at least gotten pretty close. But the double protect also stalls at the fake out turn.
Mike's gonna go ahead and Terra.
Yeah,
I think this might be Landorus' steal to give it a survival turn. It is.
Okay, actually I like that.
It's only good if you don't double up into that slot.
Yeah, I think that's actually ideal because even if it's a double up, it lets you take the Grassy Glide and then put out a Sludge Bomb into the Rillaboom. And that's, I think, the only thing that Landorus is needed to do. That's the only thing that Terrace really needed to do at this point.
But Tyler is going to head and Terra their Rillaboom to Grassy. Hopefully get enough power to get that Miracle Seed Grassy Terrain boosted.
It's going to be real close. It's going to be real close.
Yeah, it will be. Here comes the Grassy Glide and this Rillaboom. Will this be enough to knock out this Landorus? It is not!
Oh, man, that's close. That was real close. And that might decide the game because Rillaboom gets taken down there.
Down goes the Rillaboom, and now it's Michael very much in the driver's seat to win this game.
Yeah, because even, well, it's going to be weird. It's going to be a question of how much Surging Strikes does.
Oh boy, okay, that does a decent amount of damage to the Amoonguss, and here's the Spore.
Yeah, there's the
And now it's only a matter of time before you can probably, okay, so Tyler does like a nice their win condition, which is knock out everything around the Landorus.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, you have to knock out the Amoonguss, but I think now is a decent spot for Amoonguss or Landorus to switch out, because you know that Registeel's not attacking this turn.
Or you can Pollen Puff it.
Or you can Pollen Puff. Why would you Pollen Puff the Landorus? You don't. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, here comes the.
Oh, I forgot Flutter's still up.
Flutter's still here. Oh yeah. Fluttermane comes back into the play for Mike Muñoz, and Registeel will take his first turn to sleep here. Potentially, this Amoonguss going for the Pollen Puff here. It is going into this Registeel. Probably going to be a laughable amount of damage. Okay, maybe 12 damage, but no, 11, and it's going to heal it all back.
I didn't realize Michael hadn't lost a Pokemon yet. It might 4-0 this game, the most stressful 4-0 of all time.
And now it comes down to whether or not this Registeel can wake up quickly enough. Rage Powder comes into play to make sure that Heavy Slam does not land on that Fluttermane, as to the importance of Mike's win condition. Here comes the Shadow Ball into this Registeel. How much damage? Almost half. Registeel does wake up, so the Crisis has been averted, but instead of being a Heavy Slam, it's actually going to be Body Press, but it also just activates the Citrus Berry.
Yeah, the problem is that I think Registeel really wants to be Body Pressing and wants to get Amoonguss out of there, because the win condition is for Registeel to be basically knocking something out every turn with one of its moves. Because it's really stacked up on Body Press, Landorus can't do anything, and Fluttermane would just drop to Heavy Slam. But it needs to get Amoonguss out of the way first. I like the heal turn, although it also gives Amoonguss a heal turn, so it doesn't really do anything either way.
No, it doesn't. It just buys Michael more time to, you know, find a way to get yourself into a situation where Landorus is just not a key necessary win condition, or
yeah. I mean, it's more of a question of like how many, because if Registeel takes what, 3 Shadow Balls, like the 3 Shadow Balls, and then it's done. So it needs to get rid of Amoonguss like really fast.
here's Rage Powder from this Muñoz once again to redirect the attack against this Flutter Mane from this Registeel. Shadow Ball once again will go into this Registeel. I also noticed that Grassy Train's also just gone, so it's just Red Thrower's recovery from this Registeel. Heavy Slam, not doing a whole lot of damage to this Muñoz. I believe Michael's going to go ahead and cruise to a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I like I think it was a nice gambit there to try to knock out the Flutter Mane, but ultimately the Amoonguss is what's totally stuffing this Registeel. And I don't really think it has any more options. I appreciate Tyler not giving up here and pulling out the last of the leftovers recovery, but I still think it doesn't take any more than 2 Shadow Balls.
No, it doesn't look like it. 2 more will do it, and the Muñoz is just sitting there.
And I think repeated Rage Powders will easily get out of this one, so...
Yeah, because either you take in the damage that Flutter Mane is able to finish off his Registeel, or Amoonguss faints and Urshifu's already just ready to go.
Yeah, exactly, and Urshifu, I don't know how well Urshifu does into this matchup here, but it would certainly... I don't know, it would certainly have the ability to do at least a decent chunk of damage, but the problem is just that 2 Shadow Balls is going to finish this one off.
Okay, I was wondering where was his Iron Defense.
I actually would have preferred another Iron Defense earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if it was done earlier, it would probably be a little bit more scary against that Amoonguss.
Yeah, there was that turn where it body pressed the Landorus and everyone was protecting. If it was a if it was an Iron Defense instead, this would be a little bit better of an endgame for Tyler, although I don't know if Amoonguss would even have dropped to that.
Yeah, and here comes the Shadow Ball into the protect as another Rage Powder came out from Michael's Amoonguss and is only a few seconds away from moving into the semifinal round of Gym Challenge 28. I mean, this was just well performed from Michael. You know, he stayed calm even though his Landers became a non-factor with that Levitate skill swap from the Cresselia earlier, but you stay calm and composed as Michael has. You go ahead and advance on to knock out this Registeel and go into top 4.
Yeah, and I think, like, the most interesting part about it, I think, is that Landorus was not a non-factor. Landorus could not touch Registeel, but Landorus was the one that knocked out the Gastrodon. Landorus was the one that one hit knocked out the Rillaboom, and it was a big part of dealing with the Cresselia as well. So even though it wasn't able to hit one of the main targets, it still got a ton of work done in that battle. And it was just really impressive how it was played around. And it was on the field for basically the entire time. It was basically just accepting, okay, I have a way to deal with Registeel in the late game. It's Amoonguss. Amoonguss can basically deal with Registeel in the late game. And we can do enough special damage through the Flutter Mane to get rid of it and get through all of this. And so just leaving the Landorus out there to take out everything next to the Registeel and then slowly stall out that Registeel, I really liked how that was played by Michael.
Yeah, Michael just had all the answers necessary to deal with the Cresselia and Registeel core that Tyler was reliably doing the entire tournament, and that's how he gets to top 4 here. And now we'll get into the point of the tournament where we're going to be waiting on a break, and we will be back with top 4 right after this.